And welcome back to Wiscoval_TV, back with the Firm Motorsports Paquet Photography Midget Championship, about to get kicked off way into the race season, middle part of the race season, as these guys enter in here at Weedsport here tonight. Alongside me is Alex Robinson. How's it going there, Alex?
It is going. Sir, could you possibly share your screen so I can see?
Yeah, I got you. So 6 cars are going to make a heat race here for heat race number 1. There is not the biggest field here tonight, only a 10-car field. So stuff will go fairly quick here. And the starting lineup is going to look a little something like this for heat race number 1. Cody, the number 16 machine, he'll be there on the top of the charts. Ethan there to the outside. Austin Piper out of the great state of Texas. He'll be starting up in the inside of the second row. Trevor, he'll be starting P4. Brian, P5. And Isaac, the number 2 machine, deep back in heat race number 1. He'll be starting up in that last and final spot on the outside of row number 3. Weedsport, Alex, turns number 1 and 2 gets a little tricky. It's not the most perfect turn there.
1 and 2 gives me nightmares. In any car, turn 1 and 2 will give me nightmares. No matter top or bottom, I've come to know in that track that you want to go to the middle side of the track because then you're not close to the inside wall or the outside wall. So I wouldn't be surprised even if it's not the fastest line for drivers to go to that middle line.
Well, green flag is going to wave. We'll see how as everybody shimmies and shives down into turn number 1. Cody's going to lead this thing. Ethan going to close up right there on his back Nerf bar. They go down the back chute, and they're wheeling and dealing already back down in turns 3 and 4. Cody's going to lead lap number 1.
Cody Parmley in the front spot here. Ethan Uwe in the second spot. So that 52 machine, we've seen him throughout the season. As for him, Parmley and Isaac Soares, all 3 cars have been very quick this season, but Cody Parmley leads the way.
The exact same paint schemes for the top 2, or almost the same paint schemes for the top 2. The same M9 setup shots there for Cody and Ethan. Austin Piper, though, he is one of those drivers that has been in the mix week in and week out. He's going to be rounding out that 3rd spot. Trevor P4, Brian's still P5, and Isaac still has not made up a spot. He's back there in P6 as they go down the back chute.
Cody Parmley out in front here. Ethan and Piper, your top 3 here. Isaac Soares in the 6th spot, and that's very surprising to see that 2 machine sitting so far back as he is on the struggle bus here tonight. Don't know if he had some problems on that green flag or what has happened, but you can see he is very off the pace here. That's a tough start for that number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a surprise that he is back there. I put some evidences there during the grid there, but man, he is definitely struggling. We'll try to talk to him and see if he's had any trouble. Still the top 3 or the top 3. Actually, everybody in this heat race, they have yet to make a pass here. They are still running exactly where they started off at as Austin Piper tries to look down underneath Ethan. Not going to do so. We work lap 8 of 10.
Oh boy, now the 62 machine goes around. That's Ethan Uwe now in the 5th spot. You see the 6th spot, the 2 machine of Isaac Soares is in the pits. So now it's a top 4 race with the 52 machine far back. Can Austin Piper close in with 1 lap to go next time by?
Both of these corners, they have those inside containing walls there that you can get extremely close to. Fastest way around there, but man, if you touch it, your night is going to be done. That's exactly what happened in that number 52 machine of Ethan. Final time around Weedsport here for heat race number 1. Cody's going to lead from green to checkered flag here for a 10-trip heat race. Austin Piper's going to move up a spot to P2. Same thing with Trevor there in 3rd. Brian and Ethan and Isaac. Not the greatest of heat races in his iRacing career. He's going to finish that last and final spot there in that P6. That's the last and final heat race here for heat race number 2 here at Weedsport Speedway. These guys start to grid up, and this is how the grid is going to look for these guys. Kenny Miller III with Phantom Motorsports number 23 machine. He'll be there on the top spot with Craig Silby, the number 7 machine from the land down under. He'll be there to the outside of the front row. Jason Rudolph, the Firm Motorsports driver, the number 47 machine entry. He'll be starting up in that 3rd spot. And Mason Kofi, the number 24 machine with RBR Racing. He'll be starting up in P4. Trey P5 and Darren, he'll be running out that 6th spot. Two Illinois drivers in that last and final row. Heat race 1. Alex, not gonna lie, kind of a single file race there. Track is still extremely tacky though.
Track is very tacky here, especially with only a handful of drivers in each heat race. It is not going to slick off, so I will be intrigued to see if they're going to give a warm-up session. But sitting in the top spot, Kenny Miller III in the 23M got to go to Williams Grove on Friday and watch him in his wingless sprint car action. So the guy's used, he ran micro sprints, runs wingless sprint cars, so he's used to these cars without wings. So now let's see, can he put two and two together and get a heat race win?
He did qualify the second fastest car out of this 12 car race here tonight. So definitely has some speed in the single or during the qualifying session. We'll see. Track is a little bit more slicker. Bottom side already starting to slick up. Still lots of grip up there in that middle side as green flag is going to wave. Kenny Miller's going to step on the skinny pedal. And they're going to shimmy shive down in turn number 1 as we are single file for the top 2. But third and fourth place, these guys are going to go side by side.
Randolph and Coffee now, that is for third and fourth. Give it to Jason Randolph in third at the moment. Darren Stark and Trey Garst closing in now as man, oh man, everyone in the back there from mid to back pack. Coffee, Stark, and Garst all going at it.
In the turns 3 and 4 now, it's still Kenny Miller. It's going to be Craig, it's Jason, but man, fourth and fifth spot, they are still undecided who deserves that spot. Stark slides it in there deep, up there on the high side, trying to flex that muscle, and Stark is going to take home that fourth spot as of right now, but Kofi and Trey still right there.
Stark now into the fourth spot as you see a little slider line being run here as Kofi and Garst both right there as well, but now Stark closing in, trying to get to the inside of Jason Randolph.
Trying to find a little bit of room just to spread his wings, but now he may have now. Closes up on that back bumper of that 47 machine, and Jason Randolph checking up on board. The top two guys is still Kenny Miller to the third, and Craig still trying to close up on him. Last lap time's up there on your screen right now. Craig with a quick time that last lap.
So improving as the laps inform here. So Jason Randolph a 5.2, Silby with a 5.2. So they're running some quick times here, but Kenny Miller still your race leader here. As you see the times improving for some of these drivers, Kenny Miller might be under pressure by the time the white flag comes out.
Lap 7 of 10, go ahead and make it lap 8 of 10 now. Back on board with Darren Stark and Jason Randolph as this battle starts to heat up. Last lap time still up there on your race screen, but Darren looks like he's a little bit quicker than the 47 machine. Can he find a way around him? Looks like this track is going to be extremely hard to pass here tonight with just 2 laps to go.
Randolph still holding the topside. Stark trying every line possible to get by the 47 machine of Jason Randolph. Up front, though, it's Kenny Miller the third, getting the white flag from the flag man into turn 1 and 2, the 23M, trying to hold off Silby.
Had a 2-car length. Now he stretches that out to a 3-car length for the final time into turns 3 and 4 for the final heat race. It looks like Kenny Miller the third is going to pick up the checker flag. Craig second, Jason third, and Darren Stark could not get around Jason. He's going to have to settle in for that 4th spot. Mason P5, and Trey is going to come home in that 6th spot as warm-up session is underway. Alex, you mentioned it. Will the admins or race controller let these guys try to break in the racetrack a little bit more, or will they just throw the checker flag and let the A main action start?
Fingers crossed that they'll let these guys, here they come onto the track. So fingers crossed they'll get a little bit of time to put some wear and tear on this track, because it looks, a handful of drivers per heat race. Not going to really put the wear and tear. You see it in the bottom side of the racetrack as here comes Darren Stark now getting ready to pull onto the track. The bottom side's starting to wear and tear, but it's still, until that top side starts going away and making it a 2-line racetrack, this track is going to be something very difficult. Slide jobs are a major factor here in dirt racing. We even saw it Sunday for the NASCAR race. We knew a slide job was going to come. Man, oh man, I think NASCAR needs to just go dirt full time.
That race, it was definitely something that Sunday night, the finish was absolutely incredible. But man, if they can figure out the track situation for the first, 15 laps, I think they should have like a 30-lap dirt street stock race before they put the Cup guys out there.
Well, breaking news. I don't know how breaking it is anymore. They will be back again next year for dirt at Bristol, which probably means the World of Outlaws will be back at Bristol for dirt. The Carl's Customs Bristol week will be back probably. And who knows, maybe Super Dirt Car Series will make another return. Who knows, maybe Lucas Oil does it too. Bristol Motor Speedway has found something that no other NASCAR track wants to do. Except for North Wilkesboro, which is returning too, so who knows? Maybe iRacing will gift us with North Wilkesboro dirt.
Yeah, I mean, just a Coliseum itself, the Bristol Motor Speedway. When you go into that place, it's a whole different world that no other place can match. You throw dirt on it, you got concrete racing there as well. It's absolutely an incredible place. But yeah, for sure, 2023 sounds like they will be throwing that dirt on it. We'll see if they change up the track at all. But man, NASCAR looks like year after year just seems like that dirt race gets a little bit better and better. But 2023, it'll be exciting. It was cool to see, the quote unquote dirt specialist guys up there battling it out.
I think, not to knock on the Cup guys, I think the best part was watching the Truck Series and watching guys like Michael Buddy Kofoid, who specializes, I can't even say he just specializes in one, he specializes in the midgets. As you know, our buddy Drake York, who's not here, has watched him win the USAC championship last year in midgets, but now we got to watch Buddy Kofoid win some races here in PA in a sprint car action. So Buddy Kofoid getting a truck seat for that truck race was very fun to watch. Stuart Friesen had a heck of a show for another dirt guy, and Stuart Friesen will probably be back in a few weeks. Oh no, never mind, big blocks aren't there, so who knows, maybe he'll get a super late model ride.
I know Chris Buescher just announced his Mahedon Tractor Dirt Series thing. He's going to race like 25 or 29 dirt races, going from like midgets, going to dirt late models, going to, I think, wingless sprints or some micros. He's racing all sorts of divisions.
One step at a time is all I'm going to say. I don't want to compare to Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson is a different breed. He is a different breed of dirt racer. The man, you can put him in a wingless car, a wing sprint car, a late model. He has shown it time and time again that he can run with the best of them. Do I cheer for him? Not all the time. It's always like, especially when it comes to Pennsylvania, we're homers here. We like to sit on our porch and watch the posse win. That's why I'm cheering for Kenny Miller in this one and Ethan Uwe. But Larson is just fun to watch.
His Kyle Larson or Larson racing event that he put on the other night, man, was absolutely awesome. That track turned out great. It was like the biggest crowd that track has had in forever. It was a midweek race. It was an absolute awesome race to watch there on a flow.
It's sad to say, but Kyle Larson is going to be a track promoter or a series promoter when the time comes. Who knows? Tony Stewart, after he retired, he pretty much, bought this All-Star Circuit of Champions, and they got a great showing when he bought it. But I think if Kyle Larson puts his name in the ring of a series promoter, that series will be able, I don't want to say they'll compete with the Outlaws or anyone else, but they'll put on a show.
Yeah, absolutely. Any time his name is on it. And I know he kind of set the world on fire, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever he said he wants to go World of Outlaw full-time racing. That, I don't know his exact words, but basically saying he's just here for NASCAR to, get some, how I took it, get some money so he can go, full-time racing in the World of Outlaws. And yeah, that kind of set the world on fire there for a little bit.
And then, there's always Kyle Larson, but there's another NASCAR babyface, I'll call him, that is going to step foot in the state of Pennsylvania. He always tries to it once or twice a year, and he's going to be in a sprint car this week, and it is the babyface of Christopher Bell, which our dear friend Bert will be at Bloomsburg Raceway in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania on Thursday night to watch the All-Stars and watch Christopher Bell take to the dirt track, as it'll be the first time, I want to say, winged 410s will be on that track. The first time ever that the All-Star Circuit of Champions will be there. And, what a return for some of these tracks like Bloomsburg. It's a second coming of the track, and second season, you get the All-Stars there twice, and you get the World of Outlaw Case Construction World of Outlaw late model. So, the schedule for them for their second year back is pretty stacked.
Yeah, I'm really liking the All-Star Circuit of Champions. They've been putting on a lot of good races. But yeah, so tomorrow on Flow Racing, it's the Evasion of the Posse at Bridgeport. That's tomorrow. Then you have the All-Stars, like you said, at Bloomsburg. You also have late models at Tri-City. But man, Pennsylvania, they're about to get kicked off very, very heavy here.
Oh, this weekend, if I didn't have to work day in and day out, I would be there. Bridgeport tomorrow, Bloomsburg Thursday, All-Stars at the Grove Friday, Port Royal Saturday, and then Sealands Grove has a 410 race. So if you live in the state of Pennsylvania, you got many tracks you can hit up.
You're very, very lucky if you like dirt track racing and you live in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, goodness gracious. As warm-up has waved, the feature event about to get started up. 12 cars will be making their way to the starting line. And after a 30-lap main feature, a Mac Daddy show, we'll see who decides who will take home that checkered flag here tonight. A lot of fast drivers in this one. Their I ratings are sky high here. We have one guy below a 3,000, and that's it. Everything else, 3,000 or above. So not the biggest field, but yet a very, very high-quality field. And this is how the Mac Daddy Show lineup is gonna look. Cody, he'll be starting there in that top spot out of the crazy state of California. Kenny Miller the third, he'll be starting there in P2. Austin Piper to the inside of the second row with Craig there to the outside of Trevor. He'll be starting up in that fifth spot with Jason. He'll be starting up in P6. Brian, P7. And Darren Stark be rounding out that 8th spot. Ethan will be starting up in P9. Mason at 10th. Isaac way deep back in the race field. He'll be back there in 11th spot. And Trey running out that last and final spot in that double Ford machine driver out of Illinois. Stack them up, pack them up. 35 trips around this place. Weedsport, it can be a very, very tough one for a lot of leagues, but I really think this one, we could see a lot of green flag laps, and really think the fastest car will probably win here tonight.
I gotta laugh at the comment section because Josh Van Manen still on his Knoxville high horse because their egos out there are humongous. Oh, Knoxville opening night is better than that. I don't know about that. You're one night to our five nights of racing.
Well, I'm in Texas, so we have like no opening nights. We have like Cotton Bowl Speedway and Devil's Bowl, and that's it for the World of Outlaws. But here we go, green flag lap as everybody shimmies and shines down into turn number 1. Cody gonna send it in, and Austin Piper, he's gonna send it in from the 3rd spot all the way up to P2. They go side by side, Austin Piper and Kenny Miller.
They always say you can't win on the first lap, but Austin Piper said, forget that word, I'm going to throw a slide job in turn 1 and 2 here. And he cleaned it up, and he got the second, but here comes Kenny Miller the third. Now inside here, trying to get back into the 2nd spot. Craig Silby in 4th. Randolph Hughes are in the 5th and 6th spot here. But now keep an eye on the back of the pack of Ethan Uwe and Isaac Soares. Those two have some redemption to gain.
A lot of action all the way around this pack in this 12-car heat race. We go 3 wide down the back chute, almost trying to make it 4 wide with Trevor trying to sneak up in there, and that number or Isaac Sorensen trying to sneak up as everybody beating wheels off of each other right now. But Ethan Uwe, that 52 machine, going to try to step away from that mess. One guy flipping upside down. That's going to be Mason, and the yellow flag is going to wave here on lap number 5. Seen out of the corner of my eye, Mason flipping upside down, almost out of the park. One guy in the pits, that's Brian as well, so here comes a replay. 0-2 machine outside of that little 4 wide situation, and his car may have just broke there, and he flipped it right on over. That was Brian that flipped on over. I thought that was Mason. So first caution out on the speedway.
Remember, we brought this up right at the opener that turn 1 and 2, you want to stay in the middle of the raceway, or something like that can happen. And it proves time and time again, if you get up in those marbles in turn 1 and 2, you're going to go for a ride most of the time.
Yeah, turn 1 is an extremely tricky spot. I feel like this place is like, if you can just jump on this track and be fast, you're just going to be fast at it. It's kind of one of those natural tracks. It's kind of like throwing a baseball. If you can just pick up a baseball and just throw it fast, well, you know, you're going to be a pretty good pitcher. But if you can pick up a baseball and you throw it slow, I don't know how much faster you can throw that ball. This track, I kind of feel the same way. Some guys can just jump on it and just automatically be fast, and some guys, they jump on it and they just struggle time and time again. But we'll see if that proves true. We're still very early on. Only lap 4 of 35, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And this Mac Daddy show as a pace truck is off, and Cody's going to step on the loud pedal early.
Here we go, back to work in the turn 1 and 2 here. 2 by 2 they go. As Jason Randolph, you see in the 6th spot, Kenny Miller, Craig Silby now going to swap spots here as they're going at it for your 3rd spot, but Piper is now under pressure from the 2 of them as well.
3 wide, trying to squeeze it in and down into turn 1, number 1. That's not going to work. One guy getting a pretty good hit to the outside wall. Trey is in that as well. He does a 360. No yellow flag is going to wave. Craig was in that as well. His car looks like that thing is broke. He is crab walking that front left tire all the way up in the race there. He may have a shock broke. So 8th, 9th, and 10th spot cars, they're all destroyed as no yellow flag is yet to wave, and Craig's going to pull that thing into pit road, and the caution is finally going to wave. And pace truck right back out onto the speedway, so kind of a chaos of a start down into turn number 1.
I think it's sort of an understatement there. As I'm kind of, the racing has been tough. As here we look at the replay. Craig Silby in the 7 machine. Ooh, I like the slow-mo.
Quarter speed action, 3 cars trying to fit them all up in one spot, and that's just the type of line you have to run here. You kind of got to run that slider line from the bottom all the way up to the high side. And, man, he just kind of ran out of room. One guy pushed him right on up. The 44 machine had absolutely nowhere to go. The 24 car barely squeaked on by there to the high side. But a lot of damaged race cars. We'll see if those guys get them fixed up and are able to get them back out onto the track. But as of right now, only 9 cars out there on the raceway.
It's, again, very good racing. I'm kind of disappointed with the 2 early cautions. But, again, they're both in the same corner.
Absolutely.
I feel every broadcast, ever since this track has come out, I've done about 20-some broadcasts, if not more, at this track. And the sad part is, I think only 2 cautions I've ever called have been in 3 and 4. Everyone else has been in 1 and 2.
Yeah, the only time the cautions really happen in turns 3 and 4 is when they hit that inside concrete barrier there. But kind of the same way with you, Alex. Turns 1 and 2, that's just such a weird corner, and that line you have to run is so weird that it just gets so tight, and guys, they sometimes don't make it out. But a lot of cautions there in turns 1 and 2. We'll see if they can go green to checkered from now on. Lap number 9 is what we're racing. Cody, Austin, Kenny Miller. That's still going to be your top 3, and more wrecks there in turns 1 and 2.
More chaos unfolds here. That was Mason Coffey involved in that one. As here we go, 3 and 4. Kenny Miller still trying to hold on to 3rd here as he's got Uwe and Soares. So look at this 3-wide action into turn 1 and 2. And look at the 2 guys we said to keep your eye on in this feature event. Ethan Uwe and Isaac Soares, both cars now up battling for a podium spot.
Isaac all the way down to the bottom side in that number 2 machine, the 52, but Ethan trying to flex his muscle there to the outside, going to try to get around Isaac. Does he do it? Into turns 3 and 4. Kenny Miller, the 3rd, is some way, somehow, is holding on to that P3 spot. Still side by side goes Ethan and Isaac.
So battles throughout here. Kenny Miller, Ethan Uwe, and Isaac Soares, all 3 cars. Notice they have the 129 setup shop on the side of their cars, as all 3 cars are looking for a podium spot here, and if they could get up past Piper and Parmley, they could go for the clean sweep here tonight.
On the roll cage of Isaac Soares as he tries to work that bottom side, running a slight different line than the than the top 4. Isaac rounds out the top 5, but here we go. Isaac gonna try to send it down onto the bottom side. Gonna leave a little bit of room up there for Ethan as those guys are still in that exact same spot. Derek Stark back here in P6. I haven't talked much about that guy, but same thing. Ilm9 setups along that machine. And Trey back here in the 7th spot. Jason rounding out the 8th, and then Trevor rounding out that the last car out there on the lead lap in that 9th spot. But still, Cody Parmley leading this thing from green to lap 16 so far.
Parmley is impressive, as I think, yep. Does he have a 129 on the side of his car too?
Yes, he does.
So he's sitting in first. Kenny Miller, Isaac Soares, and then Ethan Uwe in the top 5 where they were. Ethan just got passed by Darren Stark, but you had 3 out of the top 5 sitting there with 129 on the side of their car as you see Isaac Soares, Kenny Miller trying to chase down Austin Piper, and Kenny Miller right on the tail.
Absolutely, Isaac Soares was able to get around both of those guys with a massive slide job. And you can see, oh no, he just taps the outside wall. Here comes Derek Stark down to the bottom side. They're going to swap some paint. And some way, somehow, they're all able to keep it straight. So now it's Derek Stark up the 4th spot, Ethan Uwe up the P5, and Isaac going to lose 2 spots. Inside wall goes Isaac, and the caution is going to wave. And what a hard charge the number 2 car was having, has now lost it all the way to the back of the pack. Now goes that number 2 car as the 3rd yellow flag is going to wave here on lap number 20. 15 laps still to go.
Looks like a little bit of back to work here for the number 2 machine. He got up to the top 5 spot, but 2 crucial mistakes puts him around and puts him back into the 8th spot. Parmley, Miller, Stark, Uwe, and Soares, as far as I know, all of those drivers have 129, so still 3 out of your top 5. That math. 4 out of your top 5, sorry, my head is not here. My math is not right. 4 out of the top 5 have 129 on the side of that car.
Best lap times up there on top of your screen. Our race leader that has led all 20 laps, Cody Parmley, the number 16 machine, has a quick time right now with a 15.551. If I had to guess, that lap time will probably stand as the quickest since we're on lap number 20 and the track is losing all the grip. But Austin Piper, he's up to the 2nd spot. We'll see if he can close out or close up on that back bumper. But Cody, he's been hitting that loud pedal quite early here on these restarts, so we'll see if Austin Piper can hold on to it down into turns 1 and 2.
So here we go, getting ready for this yet again.
Stack them up, pack them up, wheel to wheel, door to door. The mighty machines, 4-cycle engines, man. These things have a distinct sound for sure.
Very distinct. It's fun. They used to come to PA, and when they came to PA, they were put on the same track as 600s. So it was always fun listening and comparing the 2 cars together. But I will admit these cars are faster. They are more vicious. And we are going to see how vicious these cars can be here because we are going slider attempts, cars get in contact, and we are still green.
We are still green. I thought we was going to have a new 2nd place guy, but we did not. So Cody still 1st place. Austin Piper, he's got to run him down. A little bit of trouble for Cody. Cody down to the inside wall. We'll see if Austin Piper can capitalize. Derek Stark up there in the mix. They go side by side coming out of turn 4. It's still Austin Piper P2 and Derek Stark there in that 3rd spot. Yellow flag back out.
Really weird feeling that we still wanted to.
Yellow flag back out. I didn't see anyone flip that time, but if I had to guess, it's going to be in turns 1 and 2. Trey is being shown red. See what happened to this driver. Closed up on the back bumper of him.
Guess what turn it was in?
And the good old turn 1 there. Tricky, man. This track, it just eats up some people. It's weird. Lap 22 of 35. 12 minutes exactly in this Mac Daddy show. Cody still just dominating so far, but man, these I don't think he likes these restarts. No one does. I think everyone wants to see it go green flag racing from this point forward.
Yeah, I have to laugh all the time. Josh always tells me we're not putting Williams Grove on the schedule, but I mean, Midgets at Williams Grove sounds fun.
Man, those things would be topped out on RPMs. That would be a very distinct sound there at Williams Grove Speedway.
They were at the Grove, I don't know how many years ago it was. USAC actually came to the Grove in midget action, and I tell you what, for as big of a track it is and as small of a car it is, they put on one of the best shows you probably will ever see just because how big of a track it is. You can, with these cars, you could go probably 6 wide if you wanted to.
Man, if you hit a rut at that track, down the back chute, full throttle, how long those straightaways are, you get it down in that corner. If you hit a rut in these things, man, you will be flipping for a solid hour there. Green flag back out. 12 laps to go around Weedsport to declare the winner here. As Cody leads us, Derek Stark third, Austin Piper, he's fell back a spot, but Darren Stark has looked extremely strong. He is now finally up to that P2 spot, has his sight set for Cody. Can the 55 machine run down the 16 car as they go down the back chute now?
My PlayStation just turned on and off for me, and I am nowhere near it, so I'm a little distracted at the moment. But Parmley and Stark sitting 1 and 2, Piper and Huey sitting in 3 and 4 here. This track is now getting a little bit more racy as the night goes on.
Austin Piper still all over the back bumper, the 55 machine. Piper looks down to the bottom side in turns 1 and 2, trying to pressure him all the way up next to the outside wall. Derek Stark held his ground. He's going to hold up the P2, but you can see Cody's line, the race leader, running a weird type of line down the backstretch, almost all the way next to the inside wall. Nobody has yet to adapt to that line. Look at him all the way down to the inside wall. Corner entry, not the best angle, but some way, somehow, putting down some extremely fast lap time.
That is where the moisture lies. As you see, entry is high side, but then has to go to the bottom. And now Isaac Soar is going to go to the bottom there, as you see in the 5th spot. As let's see, can the Tune Machine make a run here for a podium spot after going hard charging effort, gets caught up by 2 mishaps, and then gets back in as caution flag is out, and I have a feeling it's a 23 of Kenny Miller III.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to wall ride down the front stretch, 2 wheels up along the catch fence, 2 wheels down on the ground, but he was flipped on over right before turn 1, so I guess that is declared a front stretch wreck instead of a turn 1 wreck. But with just a handful of laps to go now, it's going to be very interesting on this restart. We'll see if any games are played, but Cody, all he has to do is hold on for 5 more laps. That's all he's got to do, and then he will be then he would have led every single lap here.
That's a very impressive run. But now, who's going to take home the final 6 laps here, or 7 laps?
That's a question that we all have to answer. Single file restart, though, for the very first time here tonight. We will not be stacking them up and packing them up. So Darren Stark, that guy definitely has a lot of speed. The exact same setup as a 16, or at least the same as setup shop. There's one guy already hitting the outside wall there. Lights on the pace truck is off. Cody steps on loud pedal. Diamond cuts off at turn 4. He has about a 2-3 car length lead down into turn 1. So Cody gets a really good jump.
Here we go. Battles continue on. Who's going to take home your top 3? Cody Parmley going to run a little bit of a slider line yet again. Darren Stark second. Austin Piper, Ethan Uwe, and Isaac Soar your top 5 here as battles continue out. But this Darren Stark just hit the wall hard. He's towed back to the pits here. So now we're down to 6 cars.
6 cars left out of a 12-car field. Man, he grabbed that toe button quick. He made him win out of the park, but Isaac Soros and Ethan Huey, those guys have been side by side, it seemed like the entire night. Two of the best midget racers here on the iRacing platform. Isaac throwing everything that he has there to Austin Piper to try and grab that second spot, but Piper holds strong. Oh, Piper up into the outside wall. He's going to lose one. He's going to lose 2 spots. Isaac up to P2. Ethan is now up to that last and final podium spot.
Isaac Soares and Ethan Uwe sitting now 2 and 3. These two cars both had to battle back after mishaps in their heat race, and now they are in 2 and 3 chasing down Cody Parmley.
Cody's going to see the white flag this time by one more trip around Weedsport. Camera is going to stay on Ethan and Austin. Who's going to grab this last and final podium spot? Ethan has it in that 52 machine. Piper all the way down to the inside wall. Does he absolutely send it? He does, all the way across the front bumper next to the outside wall. Ethan with the crossover. The 52 machine is going to hold on to that last and final podium spot. Isaac up to the second spot, and Cody led from lap 1 all the way to lap number 35 in an 18-minute Mac Daddy show. Cody Parmley is going to see the checkered flag here tonight on a wild race here at Weedsport. So we'll jump into the interview room, or hopefully these guys do, and we'll see if we can get an interview with the top 3 guys. Wild night, man. Only 12 cars, but like I said, their I ratings were, there was only one guy below a 3,000. Everybody else 3,000 and above, way above. So a lot of these guys were very experienced, but when you get that type of field, man, these guys can run the exact same lap times lap after lap.
It's very impressive. You know, maybe a few cautions more than we wanted or expected out of tonight, but for Isaac Soares, Ethan Newey, talk about those two coming from back of the pack to the front. Isaac Soares especially, who went from the back of the pack to the front, back to the back after mishaps, and then comes up and still gets a podium effort.
An absolutely wild night for that number 2 machine as we watch him right here. But yeah, his heat race number 1 started in that very last spot, and then he finished in that very last spot. He was way off the pace. We may have missed something, but he may have crashed or hit a wall or something. He raced not good. Then, like you said, started off good here in the A-Main show. He wrecked. He went all the way back to the pack, had to drive himself all the way up. So an absolutely roller coaster night for that number 2 machine. But the guy that's going to finish up in the 3rd spot is going to be Ethan. But, man, what a battle it was all the way through. 3rd spot is going to be Ethan. Ethan, man, what a wild night here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Not too big a turnout, but it was fun.
A lot of packed guys here. We was looking at some I ratings. Only one guy below a 3,000. Everybody else way above it. These guys are some experienced dirt racers here on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, for sure. I was just trying to hold my own there that race, and ended up with a podium, which is my first of the season. So I say it went pretty well.
Turns 1 and 2 had 98.9% of the caution flags. What is so tricky about turns 1 and 2 here at Weedsport?
I think it's just super narrow, and when you enter on the top, you have to get really close to the wall. So that's probably what caused it.
First podium finish for the Pennsylvania driver of Ethan there in the number 52 machine. What a wild last lap that was, man. But, man, congratulations on this podium spot. You got any shout-outs that you would like to give?
129 M9 setups, Trent Pullman Designs, Casey Prime Cuts, Edgy Neighbor, and Two Fellas Moving Company.
Very cool, man. Try to talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Ethan coming home there in that P3 spot. The guy with the roller coaster night here. Wild night. Isaac. Dude, heat race 1 did not go your best. A-Main show, you climbed through the field, and you went back through the field and back up, and overall, man, you're going to finish here in this P2 spot.
Yeah, this is my first time running a midget in probably close to a month. I did an official just to kind of get somewhat used to the car again, but it was a lot of fun, beating and banging with everybody.
You definitely have a lot of experience here in these little mighty machines.
Yeah, I've been running them for probably close to 2.5, 3 years. I don't know, something like that. But they're a blast. I've just been getting into some other stuff.
Turns 1 and 2. I did ask Ethan this, but what is so tricky about turns 1 and 2? It seems like all the caution flags wave for that for those two corners.
Oh, yeah, there's of course that slider line where you just try to drive it in as hard as you can without hitting that inside wall, and so that inside wall sneaks up on you, and then of course you're so focused on the inside wall that the outside wall will catch your right rear. So it's tight down there, especially going in too wide. I running that slider line, I think I scared Ethan off a couple times, but it's definitely a fun little track.
Absolutely, an action-packed track here as well. So, man, congratulations on this second place finish. What a wild night, but a very fun night to watch you here in this 35-lap main event. You got any shout-outs that you would like to give?
Yeah, just Ethan and Cody over at M9. They do a great job building sets for us. Trevor Meyer pitches in a lot. Everybody over there, 129. Appreciate all of their help.
Very cool, man. We'll try to talk to you next week.
Have a good one.
Thanks, brother. Isaac. Watch that guy in the iRacing Championship, or the Chili Bowl Championship. Almost won that thing. Had a very, very bad luck on that last lap. The guy that's going to come home with the checkered flag, though, from lap 1 to lap 35, Mr. Cody Parmley. Goodness gracious, man. Absolutely rocket ship out there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to stay smooth on my little line that I was running, but other than that, I didn't know what else to say.
Definitely had a different type of line than the entire field. We're watching it right now. Your car's all the way down into the inside wall there. But man, does that not mess up your turns 3 and 4 there?
Not really. I try to stay close to the wall on exit to that little grip spot down there, and it usually hooks up really well. So that's all I was basically trying to do. I mean, it works most of the time.
Midget cars, a little small 4-cycle engines that make all sorts of horsepower. Do you like these bigger tracks with these, or do you like more like the Kokomo style?
I think Weedsport's probably the biggest track I like, and then all the other tracks like Lima Land, Kokomo, I really like those as well.
How do you feel about going to Williams Grove Speedway with these?
I'm gonna be absolutely terrible.
All right, well, that
Wow.
settles that there, Alex.
Wow, I'm offended.
Cody, man, absolutely dominated here tonight, man. Led every single lap. Started on pole as well. So, awesome night here for that number 16 machine. Cody, you got any shout-outs that you like to give?
Yeah, I would like to thank M9 Setups, Brent Pullman Designs, 129 Sim Sports, Casey Prime Cuts, Two Fellas Design, or Two Fellas Moving Company, my bad, The Edgy Neighbor, Isaac Soares, Trevor Meyer, Timothy Smith, and my good buddy Ethan Huey for all the setup help.
Very cool, man. We'll try to catch you next week, and congratulations on the checkered flag.
Thank you.
Alex, there you go, man. There's your answer. Williams Grove Speedway. Cody, the race winner here tonight, thinks it'll be absolutely terrible.
That's because it actually takes driving ability to run Williams Grove. But I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say that it's not Knoxville where you can run full throttle.
Final thoughts here tonight with the Paquet Photography Midget Series.
Fingers crossed. I really would like to see a better car count, but I guess pickers can't be choosers, and especially when the talent is here and the drivers are fast. Guess people just don't want to compete against the best of the best night in and night out. But if you do, contact Josh Van Manen or the Firm Motorsports and come on out and run some midgets every Tuesday night.
Absolutely. Here on live on WhiskeyOval_TV. If you guys can't find them, shoot me a message. I'll try to get you guys hooked up. But wild night, turns 1 and 2. Always a crazy corner for these guys in any series, in any car here at Weedsport. But final results up there on your screen right now, and that's going to wrap it up. Alex, thanks for broadcasting, man. What a fun night. Small field count, but racing action all the way around. Cody is going to finish in first place. Isaac, P2. Ethan, third. Austin, 4. Trey, P5. Jason, 6th. Trevor, 7th. Darren Stark, 8th. Kenny Miller, the 3rd. He'll be rounding out P9. Mason, 10th. Craig and Brian. That's going to do it here for WhiskeyOval_TV. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the likes and shares and comments. Alex, thanks again, man. Thanks for the help. And we'll try to talk to you guys next Tuesday night. Sorry, I forgot the day. Until then, everybody.